From the Gert Boyle studio at OPB, this is Think Out Loud. I'm Dave Miller. The Jefferson County Soil and Water Conservation District helps manage irrigation, water quality, and other factors that impact the health of the county's watersheds. It is supposed to be overseen by a 7-member board, but until recently, one seat had been vacant for more than 30 years. It's the seat for Zone 1, which covers the Warm Springs Reservation. That seat finally has representation. Alicia Kleekump was recently appointed to the board as an associate director for Zone 1. She is a member of the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs and a fly fishing guide on the Deschutes River for Little Leaf Guide Service. She joins us now. It's great to have you on the show.
It took the kaduch. And I said good morning to you. Well, I guess it's good afternoon. So it took the imiwigwa. Good day to you.
Good afternoon to you as well. You know, you have now a position on the exact kind of board that I think Oregonians all over the state, probably people in many parts of the country, when they see it on their ballots, they may just say, I don't know. I don't even know what this does. I don't know these people. I'm gonna skip it, or I'll just look in the voter's guide right now and make some quick decisions. So can you first just remind us or tell us what a soil and water conservation district does?
Well, as you stated, they help with manage the watershed in our area, and Jefferson County is a very big area. So, and Warm Springs Reservation is a part of Jefferson County. So, along with the irrigation management, there's a lot of management, ag fields up above Warm Springs and Madras and, all through Central Oregon, Redmond Bend, Lupine, etc. But it's where they help the farmers and that own land and manage all this land and the soil, the health and the streams, the restoration. So that's kind of where my perspective is coming from. I live and breathe the soil, water, and conservation, as Indigenous and as an enrolled member of Warm Springs. And stream restoration, the plants, it's very vital for the river health, clean, cool water for all of the plants that grow along the river system and all the species in the river system and in every tributary throughout Oregon. So it's a very big deal. It's very vital, but it's unfortunately a very underserved district or board. People will have no idea, like you said, when they see it on the ballot. But my hope is to, bring some awareness and create more awareness in it and how vital it really is, especially in these times of drought.
When did you first get interested in your own soil and water conservation district?
See, I would honestly have to say probably back when we start guiding in my business about 15 years ago. There's been a lot of, eyes opening because you're out there every day. You're one with the land, you're one with the river, and you're seeing things and you're feeling things and you're coming and adapting to these changes, whether it's beneficial or not. So like the warmer temps in the river, the warmer everything, the low snowpack, the low rainfall that we've had, just that little bit of rain we had to here in Central Oregon yesterday was a big blessing, and it was, an answer to many prayers because we need every drop of water right now.
How did you become what you are now, an associate director for Zone 1?
That's a pretty cool question. I'm really glad that you asked that because a lot of people are going to continue to ask that question. And all it took was for me to initiate an email to the Soil Water Conservation Board Secretary and say, hey, I'm a little interested. What's going on? Is there any way that I could start helping? Is there a way I could get on board? It took a little bit of interest, and I got on the email listing. And she said, just start attending meetings and see what it's about, and start picking the brains if you would like, or if you have an interest in being in the board, we could take it further. And I attended 2 or 3 meetings, checked it out, took a lot of notes. And then there was a meeting for Jefferson Soil Water Conservation District in Madras. And I said, well, I may as well go attend it and check it out. And I was just watching and then taking many notes again and listening and observing, and I wanted to see what it was all about, and I simply asked the question of why hasn't this not been filled? Where is my representation for my people in Warm Springs? Where is the Confederated Tribes Warm Springs? Where's Warm Springs in this? And it all it took was that simple question. And they said, you know what? This position hasn't been filled in over 30 years. And right then and there, they all voted me in and appointed me as an associate's director based on my questioning of why it has not been filled. And I was in utter shock, and I had butterflies in my stomach because I couldn't believe it was happening. I was like, whoa. And just that quick, I got voted in and appointed as an associate's director. And I was like, wow. And so now I will be sitting and filling this as a year goes by, fill it as a year to show my interest in it, conservation, soil, water, land management, and keep learning and growing from there. But I just couldn't believe it. I wish I would have done it a long time ago. If I, if I would have known it would have been that simple to get on the board. And I'm the only woman on the board. It's all men. So
My understanding is
it,
that as an appointed member right now, as this associate member of the board, you don't have voting power right now. What will it take for you to become a voting member?
not for a whole year. So I have to sit for a whole year to show the interest in the conservation and in the board, basically. And then that's me demonstrating that I have my interest in it. And then it'll take coming up with a conservation plan that is approved by the district. So because I don't own 10 acres of land, that's another requirement. Or you gotta manage 10 acres of land. So those are the requirements to be on the board. And if I do not come up with a conservation plan that is approved by the board, then I run for the campaign in 2028. And I am ready and willing to do because I learned how to do all that because I just graduated the Emerge program back in the end of May. So I'm all trained up and ready to go. I would have been running right now if I didn't have to sit for a whole year as an associate's director. So
Can you tell us anything about your plan for the 10 acres that you will be managing as to meet this requirement?
I can't because that's kind of spilling the beans of what I'm trying to do and what I need to get done. And it's something that's a work in progress right now. I definitely know where I'm gonna go and what needs to be done, but I just needed to get it approved by the board.
What do you
So
think?
I can't in a sense, but I do want to, I'll give a little hint of maybe removing some invasive plants in an area that I think is vital, and that could be just a beginning of something. Yes.
What perspective do you think you are now bringing to this board that has had no native voice for more than 30 years? What knowledge or experience or perspective is now on the board because you're there?
I really feel like they're going to see more of a sense that, natives have always been stewards of the land since time immemorial. And it's something that I really think that has been, surpassed and by looked or I don't know, just not really looked at seriously. So they're going to see that we harvest our foods year round, off of the land. And since our ancestors have, like right now, our huckleberries are coming in bloom and they're early, and all of our first foods are coming in early because of the low snowpack and the rainfall. So it's very vital, I think, that they see that people that are still living off the land in a sense, even just as a fishing guide service, the changes that we've adapted with, So I think I'm going to bring a lot of different perspective that will help humanize Warm Springs in a good light, in a good realm, and keep the focus of that we all need to do something, that this climate change and everything that's happening is a we thing. It's not an I thing. It's a all of us thing, and it's a all of us problem. And there needs to be more awareness created in that it's we need to come together in solidarity and work, and as one to get the job done because there's so much work to be had. And and this is a lot of it's passion. This is not a paid position, so it's this has to come from a place of heart and a place of passion. So I really think it's going to help excuse me, create awareness that we're still here, that we still very much care, and that we still very much um take care of the land, so even as my fishing guide service, we've donated in the past 15 years to many nonprofit organizations that, do conservation and restoration projects. So I just would, I think it's going to bring a lot. I'm going to bring a lot. And it's just a representation that has been overlooked and surpassed for too long. It's long overdue. So I think I'm going to bring a lot to it. And with a lot being said, I always say water is life. Even each fish we catch, even every huckleberry we pick, every every food we pick and harvest year round, and that we still utilize and sustain our bodies as one, and it's water. So chush ikech wakech, water is life, and that it's under our treaty. Excuse me, my allergies are bugging me. It's under our treaty that helps us sustain this way of life, and we help take care of the land because of that. And so I hope to bring all that to the table and to just humanize us, because we're still here.
We just have about 40 seconds left, but based on this low snowpack, what are you expecting on the reservation in Jefferson County as a whole over the next 6 months?
Well, I know that we're all farmers, and everyone's kind of trying to figure out everyone's trying to go to plan B or C and D because of this low water. We're having to have our ceremonies really fast. We don't normally pick huckleberries until August, but we have to have our huckleberry feast really quick and get out and start picking them before they dry up. So it's going to affect us all with this low snowpack. So do your rain dance, people. No.
Amen. Alicia Cleacomb, it was great talking with you. Congratulations, and thanks so much.
Thank you for your time and the opportunity.
Alicia Cleacomb represents the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs on the Jefferson County Soil and Water Conservation District Board. She is the owner and a fly fishing guide at Little Leaf Guide Service. Finally, today, our producer Shiraz Sadiq joins me in the studio to read some of your recent feedback. Hey, Shiraz.
Hey, Dave. A couple of weeks ago, we asked folks on Facebook what services they think should be available to homebound seniors.
Farrell Riley wrote wraparound services that provide transportation for senior center events, wellness checkups, tech support or phone help, and exercising voting rights.
Frank Simonia said grocery delivery, transportation to and from the doctor, free internet service, mental health care, rent assistance, and lower prescription costs would help.
L.A. Starcevich said, as everything moves online, seniors will have to have help. So many of the state and federal websites for assistance are poorly designed and hard to read.
Melissa Martin wrote, not that it's the government's job, but it would be good to encourage or incentivize programs of genuine connection, especially for those who don't have routine visits from loved ones. There are loads of community program types out there, but without that core element of connection, medical and nutritional services may have unnecessarily limited effects.
We asked gardeners on Facebook whether they include native plants in their yards or gardens.
Five Old Mouse said, native plants and food. That's it for me.
Jean Schifrins wrote, a few, but I still prefer non-native plants.
Miriam Pike said, I have a mix. We planted blueberries and raspberries and strawberries for the kids, but 90% of new plantings are Pacific Northwest native, and I'm shifting more towards Portland's Pacific natives as well. I like the beauty of the Pacific Northwest and want that in my backyard. Plus, many plants are important food, habitat, and pollen sources for our native insects, and I'm very concerned about declines in their population.
Autumn Voirol wrote, I have ornamentals, but am adding in natives over time. It's the best choice for the insects, birds, and our planet's future. Native plants are adapted to our climate, so less watering is needed. It's the way to go.
Karen Chappell wrote, I would say my habitat is roughly 85% native plants. This is something real and concrete that I can do. in a world that is mostly out of my control to make the world a better place.
Last week, we talked with a U of O professor about the explosion of interest in mahjong around the country. Lily called in from Portland to say she is seeing it in the Northwest as well.
I'm a member of the Portland Ricci Mahjong Club, which has been kind of as a surprise to all of us, following in on that new wave of popularity, really exploding in population recently, where we used to have, when I started out there, it was, maybe 4, 6, 8 of us coming every week. And now it's been more like 20 or 30, which has been super amazing. There's all of this local interest happening up in the Pacific Northwest here.
We talked recently to the new owners of Oregon's only vinyl record pressing company and whether you listen to vinyl.
Xander Almeida wrote, I have so many, 1,500 plus and counting.
Cynthia English wrote, I listen to mainly MP3s and collect CDs. My vinyl collection is small because it has never been the focus of my music collecting. I keep a full CD setup for listening to CDs at home. I still own hundreds of CDs and want more. Long live physical media.
And Andrew Kaiser wrote, yes, I appreciate the warm yet imperfect sound. Just as important to me, I like having a large form of the album cover, booklets, etc. For me, an album cover sets the stage for the music, and having it in a large physical form is a treat.
Finally, to commemorate the 250th anniversary of America's independence, just a couple of weeks ago, we spoke with a series of guests whose life experiences and personal histories illuminate different aspects of what it means to be American. We asked what you value about being American and what you wish the country would do better.
Jennifer Huford wrote, I'm grateful for the promise of this country, and I wish we would live up to our ideals. I wish we would better acknowledge our history, all of it.
Eleanor Wynn wrote, journalism standards have eroded dangerously, and education has declined, so we have a misinformed electorate in a large segment of the population. What I like, democracy and diversity.
You can always reach us any way you want to with your questions, your comments. Our voicemail is 503-293-1983. Our email address is thinkoutloud@opb.org. And on Facebook, we are at OPBTOL. Thanks very much, Shiraz. Tomorrow on the show, the Portland OBGYN, Mary Fariba Afsari, has written a memoir called Labor. She tells the story of how she came to turn a 31-foot-long RV into a mobile women's health clinic, and she braids her personal narrative with the story of her grandmother in Iran who died as a young woman from an illegal abortion. We'll talk with her about her book and her work. Thanks so much for tuning in to Think Out Loud on OPB and KLCC. I'm Dave Miller. We'll be back tomorrow.
Think Out Loud is supported by Steve and Jan Oliva, the Rose E. Tucker Charitable Trust, Ray and Marilyn Johnson, the Susan Hammer Fund of Oregon Community Foundation, and the Lang Svengard Family Fund.